This is the Everyday Hustle Show, where our number one priority is self-development.
Each week, we will dive into insightful topics that encourage you to push your thinking beyond average.
Smash that subscribe button and tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m. Sure?
Burning your shit.
Oh, we're going to burn it right now. We're hot.
Dude, you did... What?
You almost lit the
We're here?
House on fire.
place on fire.
We need to shout out Heather. Did you see?
Yeah, I did see that.
On Facebook today.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, shout out to Heather Garvin. She actually dropped by.
I'm pretty sure that I am the one who gives most people joy.
I don't know. I mean,
No, I'm just kidding.
maybe.
She dropped by with a care package. I'm not burning what she gave us, but we're gonna burn some Palo Santo to start off the episode.
Damn. I want to say this, though. I thought back on last week's episode, and I didn't really... I sort of feel like maybe I said a few inappropriate things to young Vinny.
That's every...
He
Yeah.
seemed very, he's into the religion game, and maybe I crossed some lines.
Well, if for anyone who hasn't heard it, go check that out.
Yeah, that was the 84th episode.
No, 85th, wasn't it?
Hold on, I'll take care of that right now. Did you don't
Yeah.
even have to...
So for those who
Dude,
aren't who
cleansing
can't
Jesse
see
right
this,
now.
I'm like nervous you're gonna burn a hole through my
Cleansing Jesse
pants.
right now.
he's getting cleansed.
Yeah, so I got a little info on the Palo Santo here. Obviously, it's like a mystical tree that grows on the coast of South Africa, related to the frankincense, myrrh, and copal. In Spanish, the name literally means holy wood. It's part of the citrus family and has sweet notes of pine, mint, and lemon. Can you guys smell that?
I do, and I honestly feel like I'm catching a buzz right
You
now.
almost burned me?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
burning
okay,
it.
just don't burn
Cleansing
me.
you.
Is anyone else catching a buzz right now from this?
What?
Right.
No, it's not. You don't. But yeah, no, you feel it, right?
Melissa
You feel it?
Yeah, dude, I
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I like Palo Santo.
It's just you feel the negativity leave your body and the
I'm
positivity
the most
come in.
positive person ever.
We gotta give the negativity some
They did.
Yeah. Yep.
How long ago you guys think that was? About 2 years ago. You guys used to call me Negative Jess.
No, I was Andrew.
No, I think that was like
That was both of you.
Kyle started that, but
Used to be negative.
so morbid.
That was a long
Yeah,
time
that's
ago.
true, that's true, he was.
We don't need to reference those past.
But
past
I
years.
feel like these days, I'm positive, Jess.
Positive Jess. Wow.
Yeah.
You're
Everyone
something.
keeps telling me at work I'm fucking insane for getting married and feeling excited about it. They're like, "You're fucking
Yeah, dude.
idiot."
So this is the 85th episode.
86.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my
I already
God,
titled
you
it
piece of
85
shit.
in audition. I'm gonna have
You
to go back and
piece
change
of
it.
dirt.
Wow.
Okay,
dude.
we got Melissa here tonight with us. Melissa, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm just gonna.
Welcome,
Can you just move the mic a little bit closer to her?
Yeah.
Chris. You were supposed to set all this up. You fucking.
It's all good. We're just we're fine tuning
No,
as
don't
we go.
don't blame
That's
yourself.
We're
It's
fine
Christian.
tuning as we go. Perfect.
It's
Okay.
constantly Christian.
And I want to say Melissa from, I guess, can we say Karma Kaps?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Karma Kaps, and just we'll go into a little bit about your bio, but just tell us what Karma Kaps is for everyone who's listening.
Karma Kaps it's a small business. It's growing, but it's all hand painted hats. I do heat press designs and hat painting events. I do team building activities or team building for like corporate offices. I don't know. It's just kind of like growing.
Yeah,
but
we
it
got-
started off as hand painted hats.
And we got some
Okay.
special edition hats here tonight. Thank you for that.
Yeah, can
You're
we ask
welcome.
questions on these now, or do we come circling back to this?
We'll
Drew?
probably circle back.
To the hat.
Yeah, I got a question.
Well, yeah. Let's just let me tell
Okay, go
let me
ahead.
tell you also, because this is you don't pay attention in the group chat. I'll
What?
tell you and the listeners about a little bit about Melissa. Born and raised in
I'm
Tampa,
so
Florida.
prepared.
So Florida native.
Yes.
Good, rare. You're sitting.
Rare.
You're sitting with
Rare.
three. Two Yankees and
He
Westerner.
says
West
he's
Coast,
from
Mexico.
California,
It's
but
basically Mexico.
Two
He's really
Yankees
from
and a
Utah.
Southerner.
The Southern, yeah.
But anyway, you graduated from Lynn University with a full ride scholarship on the volleyball team, right?
Yep.
So you were an athlete all through high school and college?
I was.
Lynn is
Amazing.
in Boca, right?
Yeah, it is in Boca.
Okay.
Amazing. So 07, graduated with a degree in journalism and a minor in advertising and PR. 2008, after college, worked for the American Cancer Society. In 2009, you became a special education teacher. In 2011, you took a break from teaching to pursue social media management, graphic design, and even learned coding. And then in 2013, that's when you began painting canvases and eventually started painting hats. In the like lengthier bio that you wrote is because you had so many canvases piling up that you just started painting other stuff, and a hat was one thing, right?
Right.
That's awesome. Super creative. That led to you launching Karma Kaps after a demand for the hats organically grew. And then obviously she just said this, but just in case you weren't listening, turn up the volume and hosts hand-painted hat-to-hat painting events, heat press designs, and has created an online community that is both creative and positive. Yeah, and obviously I want to talk to you about, there's so many questions and things that I have, but Jesse, I mean, obviously you have the hat in your hand. We'll put the pictures up on Instagram on your head.
That's on my head, dude.
But what did you want to ask about the hats?
Well, I'm guessing this is heat press.
This one is heat press, which is a little more recent.
So what is that? You just take a print on a certain kind of material and then literally heat hot press?
Yeah. So, originally it started off just hand painting the hats, just freehand. And then some people would want their logo or a specific design. And that was really time consuming. So then I would create my own stencils. Like I would do I would trace the computer, with white paper and then cut it out, old school stencils. And then I got a machine that prints out stencils. So then it was like adhesive. And then I kind of like have been slowly upgrading, I guess, over time or evolving, and to heat press, which has been a huge game changer.
Your life.
Yeah, but it's cool because I can still do the hand painted and the heat press design. So like typically I would paint the whole hat and I could do like whatever theme you wanted in the back, and then I could press your logo on top or something like that. So
that's cool.
It just allows for more creativity, and it's saving a lot of time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But that material does kind of like after time almost peel off, right?
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just remember I had a hat that was kind of like that, and but like I also wore it in the sun. It got wet.
Right.
Like I put it through its paces, and I think I lost a letter or two.
Yeah. Hopefully that
careful.
doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Hopefully that doesn't happen. But and with the paint, there's like a specific paint that I use, so it's a silicone based acrylic. So I mean, you could put it in the washing machine. I mean, on cold, but you're fine because then it's pretty much waterproof.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful with what you use. Yeah, that's what would the heat press is that like DTG, direct to garment? No, it's not the same thing.
It's a little bit different, I believe. I don't know. I'm still learning about this.
So
actually.
am I. Yeah. I have a clothing brand and we do DTG, but we use Printful, so we don't like actually do it ourselves. We go through that company, and I just know that they use DTG, and I'm not too sure what that process is like.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I have no clue either.
It probably is similar, but I would assume the direct to garment, they have some kind of printer.
Yeah, because I was looking actually on Amazon to try and like buy one, and I seen they had like add-ons for hats and for cups and stuff, so you can actually. But I'm not sure if it's exact same as heat press, but it might be.
Right, and there's a few different ways to do it. So if you had like a colorful logo, like multiple colors, because right now I can really only do one color. But I could get them printed and then press them on.
Okay.
So tell us about the sports. I feel like sports always like instills good qualities in people when you're growing up, and like my dad made me do sports, but like I'm very happy that shout out to my dad.
Shout out.
Thank you for making me do swimming and all that shit. I because it like kept me in shape and taught me a lot, and like I had a coach that was almost like a mentor in and out of the pool, which was cool. But tell us about, how it affected you, and, did you pick the volleyball? Did you like it? Did you do it just to go through school, or what was your mentality through that?
Growing up, I mean, I'm the youngest of 5, so we're all athletic. But so I did all different sports, like track and soccer. I did everything. And I was into cheerleading because my sister was a cheerleader and she was the coach. So that's kind of how I got into it. And then once I got into high school, my brothers were like, Melissa, you're absolutely not going to be a cheerleader in high school. So I'm like, all right. Yeah. So they kind of took me out and like taught me how to play volleyball. And I loved it. I loved it. I started my first year in high school, so like 9th grade, and I made the team, and like that's all I wanted to do was play volleyball. And thank God I did that, because I had to just figure out a way. If I wanted to go to college, I had to figure out a way how to do it, you know, and
how to pay for it. And,
yeah, so it was like a lot of kids, like single income. It's kind of like, all right, Melissa, you want to go to college? We'll figure it out. Right. So I feel super fortunate because I got a full ride to, you know, I didn't pay a dime for college, which is amazing.
Yeah. And
I had a great experience. I've met some of my best friends there. And it was hard, you know, but you go to school full time and then you play volleyball and, you know, and it was like pretty, it was tough because it was nonstop.
Yeah. I was scared to do sports in college because it would take away from my partying, you know. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
But I didn't finish college either, so there's that. That's cool. I feel like kids, not kids, just like the youth, you know, like they need to hear stuff like that because a lot of times people think like that stuff is it's meaningless, you know, it's just busy.
Right.
There's no point to it, but you know, people need to know that if you're skilled and driven and hardworking, that it could pay for your, I mean, that's huge. I mean, most people graduate with 50, 60, 70, even sometimes more, thousand in loans. And sometimes athletics give you the ability to graduate with zero, you know. And we love talking about, we always talk about education in school on the show because it's a controversial topic. You know, we just feel like, my personal view is that kind of times have changed. And like, you know, I'm 32. So when I graduated high school in 2004, probably, you know, we were what, 02 or 03? Graduated high school?
03.
03, yeah. So we were close, yeah. So like, I feel like when we finished high school, that was like just the normal thing.
Right.
It was like you finish high school, then you go to college. That's just how it was.
Yeah, you didn't have very many options.
Yeah. I was pulling for the whole like leap year thing, or what do they call it?
Oh, the break.
Where you take the year off, gap year.
Gap
My
year.
mom was like, yeah, no, you're not doing that. You're going to college. You're leaving this house.
I agree with the year off before college. No one really knows what they want to do.
Exactly, and that's what that is why I feel the way I feel about it now is because when I started, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was undeclared for the whole entire time that I was in college, and I just I wasted some time and some resources, and I don't regret it, but that has just kind of formed my opinion. So if anyone ever comes to me, like I'm always like, do you know what you want to do? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Like I was like, well, you might want to think about that before you start paying $10,000.
Definitely.
You know, a semester.
Sure. And they just throw you in too. They're like, well, what do you want to study? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not like a big math. I love math, but I'm not good at it. So I was like, whatever doesn't have math. So journalism. But I actually ended up
we have the right thing for you. Yeah. They're like, oh, we have the perfect thing for you here.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's awesome. Journalism and advertising and PR. So let's go into that. What was it like studying journalism? Like, what do you?
You know, it was actually really cool. I mean, we did a lot of like short film classes, which you would probably like. You're in, you know, magazine production. Like a lot of it was hands-on video editing. So I was super happy with the major that I was.
You were interested in it. It was engaging.
Yeah, it was really cool. Just some good experience, and then the advertising and PR.
So 4 years, you finished all that.
Yes.
That's really
well. It was awesome because the scholarship paid for like 18 credit hours, which is like 6 classes or something.
A semester.
And I think full time is like 4 or 5 classes, but I took all 6. Like that was just my mentality growing up. It's kind of like, Melissa, you want to do something, then you got to just do it, you know?
Yeah.
So I was able to finish my bachelor's and then partially get through my master's in those 4 years, and then play volleyball too, which was, you know,
a lot.
So it was a lot, but it was an awesome experience because you really didn't have a choice other than to be organized or driven or like you just you have to. There's no other way.
Routine, yeah.
Whenever anyone tells me they're in PR, it just really is like, I don't know what that means.
You know what?
PR is Puerto Rican, right?
This one, that's one.
So I'm like, there was somebody in the juice bar the other day. She was like, "Oh, like I'm in PR. Do you mind if I take like a picture of this product with like the thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can do whatever you want." But then like some like celebrities and shit are like, "Oh, like that's my PR person." Like,
right.
So like, what is it?
You know, I'm a little confused about it too. It was like I remember going into it having no idea what it was, but like public relations, I mean, I'm assuming, especially with like a celebrity status, right? They have a scandal, and then the PR person comes and like cleans it up a little.
Right. Tells
Like,
them what to say.
So maybe they
Yeah, so
manage
it's
like the image, the business's image.
The image that they portray to.
Y'all got PR, like do you interact with the PR guy at Cemex a lot?
No, but I got PR guy.
He has,
got
he
your
has his
own.
own personal.
Yeah, I got a couple Puerto Ricans that work for me. In the office. No, I mean, I'm sure Cemex has like teams of lawyers, and
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, Cimex probably doesn't have scandals either.
Well, there actually
I
mean,
has been some scandals
Bro.
in Mexico with like
Oh,
some
Mexico.
drug cartel shit.
Oh, now we're talking. Okay.
See,
Now I'm
There's
interested.
Under the
crazy
rug
shit.
type stuff, you know?
But I'm sure in Monterrey, Mexico, the headquarters of
Ooh.
Cemex there is some.
So
PR.
I
Still
guess
speak English.
yeah, I guess like so with the journalism and then advertising and PR, like it's all kind of like one umbrella. Or you were able to get that all done in the 4 years. I'm just trying to think like without could you do the journalism without the other two?
I guess.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. It was just a journalism, it was a communications major, and
Yeah.
then you kind of pick
Okay.
what you want to, specialize in or study.
And then how did you end up at the ACS? Is that what they call it for short or no?
They do. Yeah. I don't know. A friend of mine is actually one of my best friends. She played volleyball too. She got a job there. And so she's like, they have an opening. And I've always been like a giver. I love helping people or like providing service. That always makes me feel good. So I worked for the American Cancer Society, and I was a community rep there. So we put on like the Relay for Life, which are those, big 24-hour events. And we did a lot of fundraising. I met some amazing people through there. It's just, working for a nonprofit. That was a good job my first year out of school. It was just a lot. That's what you should be doing, I think, in your early 20s, because it's like a lot of hours.
Meeting people though, and like that.
Yes.
I feel like that's I guess like key thing that I wish I would have done differently was to get involved in like an organization that was something other than like my house that I shared with 6 of my friends that we just party the whole time.
Right.
So it's definitely a different avenue, and like the one thing that's I think important too is that the journalism, the everything that you've done is in hindsight helping you out today, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
kind
cool.
of funny. Yeah, it's crazy when you look back and you think, wow, I had no idea that all of this would really help. They say, oh, what you learn in school you don't use, which most of that's true. But this time, I don't know, but it has helped. And then, any job that I've had, like American Cancer Society, I was managing like, all these different people like that were managing volunteers, and they would be doctors and, stand up people in the community that were doing it, and that's helped like reach it. I don't know, just like meeting new people.
Right.
And
Where was
getting
that office
connected.
here?
It was in Boca.
So do you still speak to anybody that you worked with there?
A couple of people that I worked with. Yeah.
I mean, that was almost 10. It's crazy to think that 2008 or 2009 was 10 years ago. That's like.
I know. And I was only there for a year.
Yeah.
And that was everyone that I worked with was like fired or quit.
Yeah.
Within that year. The turnover rate for nonprofits
Why is that?
Unreal.
Is the pay not
the
competitive?
pay is not great, and I've never gone to a job just for the pay. Like, I'm like, I just want to be happy and do what I like. But it's the hours. I mean, you'd work Monday through Friday. You'd have meetings with your communities after work. So you get off at 5. You have a meeting at 7 to 9. And then you have an event all weekend, 24 hours, and you're setting up. So you're working nonstop.
Yeah.
Which is
Could be-
crazy.
Yeah.
Because your quality of life kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing right now at this point. And it is like the social aspect of things is very minimal. And I was just talking to these guys the other day. I'm like, yo, we need to just like go camping for the weekend. Like,
Right.
I just want to like sit in the woods and just
Chill.
Yeah.
for, like, 2
Turn your
days,
phone
like-
off if you can.
Yeah, like 2 days, And I sometimes I feel like that's kind of selfish of me to do that, but at the other end of the spectrum, it's like self-preservation is very very
necessary.
important for someone who needs to perform on such a at a high level. But
Right.
So then you transitioned into the education, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, it was actually the same friend that got me into American Cancer
Oh, wow.
Society. I guess I was just like following her around. But same thing. She's like, they're hiring, da da da.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to try it. I always knew I was gonna be a teacher at some point. So I was like, all right, let's just do this. And so I did that for a few years, and it was good. Same thing. You just learn a lot, and you just kind of like evolve where you're at and grow.
Is it different pay for special education, or is it the same as regular teachers?
It's the same.
The same.
Yeah. I actually taught up here in like at Palm Beach Central.
Oh, really?
It's kind of close to here. Or maybe not.
It's a shame how I don't want to say little, but I don't know. Like I just feel like the pay for like the teachers is just like kind of messed up, you know.
For what they're
Right.
doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when I first started, I really liked it because I could come up with my own curriculum and like do my own thing, and then it just became like very strict, like assessments and da 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 da. And so another thing with the pay, I'm like, it's not negotiable.
Right.
I'm fine with that. I don't really care. Like I live a simple lifestyle, but then they just like pile on the work, and then you're like, wait a minute,
It's not adding up. Yeah.
it's not adding up. Yeah, something's not right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that we talk about all the time is knowing your worth, and then the time money balance, and you know, figuring it out as you go along.
Teaching too is another thing that like it doesn't just end when you leave. You know, your work doesn't really just end when you leave.
You got to
for
go
the
home
day.
and grade
Like,
papers and
that, and you got to be thinking about.
lesson plans and
I never did that.
No.
Oh shit!
No.
It ended for her when she left.
She had
No,
it down.
I was like,
Down
I'm
to
not
science.
getting paid. I'm
Right.
not volunteering my time.
You
My
learned
work
from
day is done.
American Cancer Society. You learned.
I volunteered. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not American.
I wanted originally to be a
But for
music
some
teacher.
people, yes. But like, I don't know. I just refused.
Yeah.
Maybe that's bad. Maybe I was a bad teacher. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, fuck that. Anyways.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't think it's bad. Yeah, I mean it is. Yeah.
Learning your lesson. I mean, like you said, self-preservation. You know, you don't want to go crazy, burn yourself out, and then
No.
it's good for no one.
Yeah. I feel like I'm asking all the questions. Does anybody else want to?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask
I'm
on.
just going along with the timeline of things. We can,
divert from it.
divert, switch it up, whatever. You
No, I
want
was
to do.
gonna ask though, because I think it's important for people to, to kind of consider what you're saying as far as like people think when they graduate or just in any anytime they think about like a job switch or anything like that, they think like you said, financially, does this make sense? What's my family gonna think about this potential job transition? And sometimes people take it for the money and end up being miserable and end up being overworked and all that. And I think what you said is, as far as not doing it for the money and doing it for what actually makes you happy is is important, because ultimately if there was no money, or if you had all the money in the world, it doesn't matter if you're being overworked or if you're not happy.
Right.
So I think that's important. But where did you kind of get that conclusion, or where did you get that concept from?
Like the mentality.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe just like never having money growing up.
Yeah.
No, it's just I've always just had a simple lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like I don't need a lot.
What do you consider simple?
Simple, like I don't know, just like just a place to lay my head, and
Yeah.
I like to go to the beach. I like to
Yeah.
ride my bike. I like to paint, or I'll go work out at the beach. It's just like very low key. Like I don't go.
No, that totally makes
spend
sense. I went to
without-
Colorado like 2 weeks ago. That's where Jen grew up, and it just changed. Like everybody here is just trying to keep up with one another, and like I got caught up in the same cycle, and now it's just like a bunch of debt and a bunch of like hardships, and like me wishing for the simple lifestyle.
Right.
That's why I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes everyone's definition of it is different. But yeah, I would be like, it would be so cool to like just like live in like a tiny little apartment by the beach and not have any car payment.
Ooh, yeah.
Or like like very minimal bills, and maybe ride an electric skateboard.
But how long do you think seriously, how long do you think you would be there until you're like, yeah, I need more.
I don't know. I need to try it though. You know.
'Cause I feel like
and
that
then
whole,
there's all those guys who like drive around the country like living in vans and stuff.
Right.
And like when I was in Colorado, we did a little bit of rock climbing. And like, did you know anything about like rock climbing or anything like that? No.
A little bit.
nothing.
Did you ever see or hear the movie Free Solo about the dude
I
Alex?
Oh
love
hell
it.
yeah! My
Yeah.
dad
He's
watched that like 3,000
Yeah, so like
times.
all he does, like they call it in the scene that they call it like the dirtbag lifestyle. Like these dudes literally live in their van, just drive around, and like just climb.
Climb rocks and shit.
They just climb. They eat freaking granola and like just
Right.
like nothing. They have nothing. He's
And they
like, yeah,
just
my
wanna
only
climb.
bill is my cell phone, you know. And they
Yeah.
just yeah. But like you watch these films of these guys and like they're just out in the freaking Grand Tetons and shit, like in the Yukon and like California, and it's like that's amazing, you know. And sometimes I'm like, man, I really want to do that. I want to live that life. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I got a kid. I'm already past the point where I could do that.
Right.
And
you
sometimes
you can figure out a way.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't want to
could
feel
just,
like
like-
I can't do that. You
Yeah,
know,
you
I
could
want to
just
be able to
leave.
maybe try that one.
Just leave, dude.
No, just put
Just
put,
cut
Out
Yeah.
of the truck and just
Yeah.
no, put Layla on your back and go rock climb. You know what I'm saying? Get one of those little naps with little baby
Yeah.
pouches.
As you were talking about that kind of reminded me a little bit of where it did come from, that mentality, is that we would take a trip to Nicaragua every summer, and it was kind of like more of like a surf trip thing. Like we'd be there for a month, 2 months, but it's like it's third
that's
world.
third world. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd fly into Managua and then you'd drive like 2.5 hours. I don't even know how we got there. You're driving through like treacherous.
Yeah.
But everybody there is, I mean, they have like dirt homes.
Yeah, like,
or
they
they'll
don't
have
give a
trash
shit.
bags
Yeah.
over their heads. And
Yeah.
it's insane, but they're the most hospitable, like loving, welcoming people that I've met.
Right.
And we'd spend a good time, you know, and they'd invite you in and they'd make you ceviche and they'd make you this
Yeah.
drink that and it's just kind of like, wow. And then you
Yeah.
come back to your house with like all your shit and you think, this is like a mental illness.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
why do I
I'm
need all of this?
and then I'm on fucking 441, and the lady in front of me won't even let me merge over and have my blinker on.
Yes.
These people are
You
inviting you
can't
into their
put your
home. They're making you food there, and like I can't even move
Yeah.
over.
Right.
I'm like, this is just like
Different life, dude. It's a
honestly,
different
yeah.
world.
And like sometimes I don't want this life anymore.
Mhm.
Not that I'm ungrateful,
Right.
but I just think like the simplicity is just something that I've been striving for more. But it's hard once you dig your heels into
Oh yeah.
society.
No, man.
and-
Sell the house, bro. Sell the house. Sell the truck.
No, just
place.
walk away from it all. Just,
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
don't even sell it.
I'm
Just
just
walk
kidding.
away.
Don't do that.
That was a great veer off.
Yeah.
I want to
Don't
ask
do that.
about the because social media is like obviously it's like everything nowadays. But when you said you took a break from the teaching and you pursued social media, graphic design, and coding, did you work for someone or were you self-taught or
I did.
What was the deal
worked
with
for
that?
someone. So it was I was with someone at the time. My boyfriend at the time, his brother-in-law was like a big wave surfer, like amazing. And so I wasn't necessarily happy teaching, and we all wanted to travel, and he wanted to surf. So they're like, Melissa, quit your job and you can work for him. And I'm like, all right, sign me up.
hell yeah. That sounds.
So I was doing some like social media management and things for him. So the plan was to travel around the world and surf and look for like the biggest waves, and that was
Fuck
that
yeah.
at that time. It was amazing.
So you were managing his Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, growing his platform, and
Yeah. So we ended up.
did he make a living like with like brand deals and stuff through that?
And he
Okay.
still is.
Okay.
He broke like world records for like
Wow.
surfing like 100-foot wave. He's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
You want to name a name or no?
Sure. Garrett McNamara.
Okay, cool.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna look him up. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the plan. We ended up living in Hawaii there and managing property and things like that. And that's when I was doing all of his social media and marketing, and it was cool because, like I said again, it was like another growth opportunity. And I'm a big believer in, like, if you're not growing, like, you're dying. Like, what are you doing? You got to keep learning and evolving, and that's what feels best. Like, I feel like that just like feeds
For
our
sure.
soul. So So that was a great time, and I absolutely loved living in Hawaii.
Yeah.
If you put your blinker on, they will let you in. They'll let you over. They're so nice and friendly, and it's great. So that was an awesome time. Where were we going with this? Oh yeah, so that's so I was working for him. That's where I started to kind of use some things that I learned from school and get into some creative writing too. I did some content for
So what are
sites.
some tips that you could give maybe someone out there who's listening wants to, grow their Instagram or, Facebook or, whatever small business? Like what are some things that they could do on their own that might help them grow?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's
I
kind
would
of a
say
broad
just
question.
research. I mean, like honestly, like Google, YouTube, I
Yeah.
mean, such a huge, resource, but just making quality content, I think, is better than lots of just content. Just try to make it quality. Like, what message are you portraying with this post or with this story? What do you want? And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I want to sell this, so I'm going to be like, da 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 da, like in your face. But like, what audience are you relating to? Like, you got to kind of think about the things like what you want from this, or I don't know. I always just feel like it's best from the heart. If you're being genuine, like you can kind of tell, if you're on social media and you're looking at things and you're like, oh, I don't know, that kind of feels weird.
Right.
It probably was weird, You can tell when things are
It was
genuine.
like their 70th try, like 70th take on the video.
Yeah.
You can just kind of feel it.
I think just like keep it genuine and then but start somewhere. Some people don't want to start until it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't exist. Like
Right.
you just got to start somewhere and go.
It's never the perfect time.
No.
Yeah, in Hawaii, that's like a place that's like one of my dream. It's funny, I send my fiance stuff all the time, like literally plane tickets, like how much they cost and stuff for like a specific date. Airbnbs that I find, like, oh, check this place out. But yeah, Hawaii is a place that I want to visit.
Yeah.
It's like a dream place for sure.
It's
I want to go there next year for our belated honeymoon.
Can I come?
No, it's belated honeymoon.
Yeah, can I come?
No, I
won't
kind of
bother
took a
you,
break from social media because I had some Me Too survivors that were kind of hot on my tail from some shit I did back in '94.
It's 100% a lie.
So
Some what? Me Too survivors?
yeah, you didn't get that elaborate joke.
That wasn't even elaborate.
No, it was kind of actually very simplistic.
That was very
Now that you say.
simplistic
Yeah,
and not a good joke.
I did some Cosby shit back in '94.
Jesus.
Slipped a couple Johnnies to some.
I don't even think
when you were
people-
6.
Yeah, I was 6 in '94.
I don't even think people call drugs Johnnies. That's what they call
Whatever it is,
cops.
Ropanol or whatever.
This joke fell apart.
Yeah.
So began painting in 2013. Canvases. So did you ever like paint like toy with it growing up or like?
No, like it was always, for me, it was always just kind of sports or play outside, sports and school. I never painted.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's cool because a lot of times people think too like, oh, like I'm too old it's too late to start something new, and it's like yeah, I mean like, and like all the artists and all the painters. Well, do you feel that people are born with their special talents, or do you think that they acquire them and kind of build them as they go along?
I think both.
Well, yeah,
Both.
because
Yeah.
I think like anything you do enough and repetition, like you can. Anyone I think can learn how to play an instrument if they put enough time and effort into it. But same thing probably with art is kind of a learned skill.
What about
but,
like Vincent Van Gogh?
I was
You
about
don't
to
think
say,
like
at
I was
the
about to
same
say, yeah,
time,
there's
there
some-
are some like
There's a cap.
straight up. What do
Yeah.
they call that?
prodigies?
That are
Yeah.
born with like extreme talents.
Right.
What about
'cause-
Eminem?
Same as people are born with like
He's fire.
extreme mental capacity. And
Yeah.
grow up to do great things. But
Do you think Eminem was born with the gift of rhythm? I mean, he's
No.
playing
I
too.
mean, now I can't look at Eminem and not think about Frank Law. So
with the blonde hair.
yeah,
Yo, but I will say this: if I do the same thing that Michael Jordan did as far as training, I'm not gonna get to where
Well,
Michael
dude,
Jordan got.
you all
to.
read the-
So
did you
that's
read the
the
book?
point. That's the
Isn't there a
point.
book about
Right.
that? Something about Michael Jordan?
Maybe.
There's like a
Probably.
book that, yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like Mike or something like that. So
Yeah.
I was hearing about it on something.
oh yeah, it's Magic Mike that did two
No,
movies.
not Magic.
good
Man.
movies, dude,
He's
my
talented.
favorite.
So you
though.
said you listened to podcasts before the show. What do you like? What's your go-to, or what do you like to listen to?
It's kind of It's not embarrassing. It is a little bit embarrassing.
Howard Stern? Who is it? Howard Stern? What is it?
I get ones like, I mean, I
True
listen to
crime.
some good ones. No, but there's like Girls Gotta Eat podcast. Have you heard of that?
No.
Probably
No.
not. It's just like, I don't know. I guess more like girl stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Girl
Yeah.
stuff.
Do you listen to Rachel
No,
Hollis?
I'm just kidding.
No.
No. She's like, if you go to like the Browse, and then like she's like the top. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
The
but
top one.
she's married, and then yes,
Oh my God, there's a baby here.
is Layla going to bed? Good night,
Is she
Layla.
wearing a
Good night, Layla.
sock? A giant sock?
No,
She's in a giant sock.
What the?
Tell the people, Layla.
Goodbye.
Layla, tell the people. Tell them. Tell them something.
What if she threw up on the mic right now? It'd be so
She
awesome.
told the
be a
people
bad.
something one time. She
Aw.
went, but she had nothing to say tonight. Good night, Layla.
Good night.
Oh yeah, it's called like Rise or something like that, and it's like her and her husband, and they talk about like relationship stuff and like
Oh, I'll have to
all
check it
different
out.
kinds of stuff. But yeah, I mean they have a massive following, and they're
Okay.
yeah.
I'll check it out.
So what's
Girls
the
gotta eat.
Girls Gotta Eat? Like, so they
Well,
talk about
They talk about just like relationship stuff or
Yeah.
like kind of like funny little quirky things that
yeah,
happen that no
it's
one
like
really
talk
talks
radio
about.
type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my good friends has one in the world of female sports
Okay.
too. I like that one.
Nice.
There's like Terrible Thanks for Asking, which is like true stories.
Yeah.
I kind of like true life, like
Yeah,
happenings,
some
so-
variety. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Howard Stern though.
No, you know what? Like I've heard some Howard Stern, but what?
I'm a huge fan.
He's not
I've
a
been on the
huge
Theo
fan.
Vaughn podcast recently. I'm not gonna lie.
Theo Von's sick.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's good live, but dude, I can't listen to his podcast. I'm sorry, Theo. I
Sometimes
Dude.
like I'm just driving and I have 20 minutes, and like a lot of times I want to like listen to like a business podcast
Right,
about
right.
something that can help me like get. But then sometimes I'm just like, man, my attitude is fucked right now. Like, I gotta put on some
need
weird
some
shit.
Theo, yeah, I need
and
some
just
Theo.
laugh.
He just he just goes off on these weird tangents and takes like a crazy way to explain something.
Yeah, yeah.
simple.
I like how he has a hotline though. People
Yeah,
call in.
that was
I
cool.
love
And it's all
that.
pre-recorded, so they'll call in, leave a pre-recorded message, and then he'll play it back,
Do you know
pause
that,
it, pause it, talk about it.
You know that Swinson made it on
Oh
there?
yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
I
about
listened.
that.
Yeah, and shout out to Scott who connected us with Melissa from the Grave podcast. You could check out his podcast too. It was really good. I was on that one last week. But he's got a lot of really awesome guests on there. But he listens to Theo Vaughn, and you
Yeah.
could tell because on the ad that he did for the
Oh,
little
yeah, I
the
seen
little
that.
pull up
I
things
knew
on I was like, dude, yeah, you did a great job with the ad. I said you could shorten it up a little bit and like put less Theo Vaughn in there. You know, he's like, yeah, I was listening to him all day. It just kind of came out like that.
We seen him at the show. At
Yeah,
the
he
Theo
was at
Vaughn
the
show.
same,
Me and Jesse
show.
went, and he was there.
He is the best stand-up comic I've ever seen in my life.
That was good.
though.
It was. I'll say that. That was good.
So tell us about a really awesome experience you had with a business or a team building thing with the hat painting. I think that's really cool, and I might hire you for some
Yeah.
team building.
Let's do it. I don't know. I guess one of my favorite things is like collaborating with new businesses or local businesses. And so a friend of mine opened a restaurant, Blue Ocean Pokey. And so he's like, you can use my location anytime you want, which is great because
Yeah.
I don't have my own location. I mean, that would
Yeah.
be ideal. That's one of my goals. But
Yeah.
it's just cool. So we have them like once a month and people come and it's like anywhere from like 15 to 40 people will come. And
So when you advertise for that, I'm guessing, and is it like artists or like also people who like never painted in their lives and just want to like try it out and do
yeah, it's
something
people
fun?
who have never painted in their life.
Because I know like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the thing
I
where you
didn't-
drink
yeah,
wine
I
and
was
you
just
eat
gonna
and
talk
you
about
paint.
that.
Yeah,
Elena,
exactly.
we might go to one next week. The
Yeah.
Uptown Art and City Place.
You gonna drink?
Why is it always about that with you? No, I'm not gonna drink. I'm gonna paint a sunflower. You kook.
Yo, paint me, please.
Helena loves sunflowers, so shout out to my wife in 1 week.
Fiance, dude. She's not your wife yet.
Fiance.
She'll be my
dude.
wife in a week from right now.
Okay, well, fiance for now.
By the way, fuck K Jewelers,
You got some beef over here.
motherfuckers.
Do you want to air it out on the podcast?
No, don't let him air it out.
Real.
I really
quick
don't want.
story.
I don't want any negativity in this.
No,
room
just
right
real
now.
quick story.
He put the patchouli on you.
Their technology
Palo
sucked.
Santo.
Palo
We should get
Santo.
that back out.
Their technology sucked, and they took $2,000 out of our account for a week and gave us nothing. And when they gave it back to us, we took the money and went to a different jeweler and got the same shit we were gonna get for a much cheaper price and better warranties, lifetime warranties. So
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm happy they took my money for fucking 7 days.
Well, anyways.
7 days?
7 days.
Usually it's like takes like no.
That's why I was so pissed, dude. Because they just every time I talk to somebody, they're like, "Oh no, like you might have to wait like 10 days." I'm like, 10 days? What the fuck?
Did you call the bank?
I called everybody. The bank couldn't do anything because they're like, "Look, we can't put it as fraud because you swiped your card trying to make a purchase, so it's on them. Like you can't report it as fraud." Fucked up situation, but needless to say,
the rings look great, and that's amazing.
I told, they are. I got a black cobalt ring. Fucking just like the color of my soul.
You're going to have to get a rubber boy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already looked. I found some cool ones.
He's not out no trenches.
I know. Today he's like, "Oh, I got a shower." I'm like, "Got a shower? You're a white collar guy now. Like you sit in the
You're sitting in the cubicle.
Yeah. Some days, I work really hard. Today,
I did not. You did not.
Yeah, my people do all the work for me. Shout
There you
out
go.
to fucking my office. You guys are sick.
So you're taking a career curve, I guess you could say. And if Karma Kaps was enough to, provide for your simplistic lifestyle, would you want to do that full time, or is that not like enough? Because I know you like to help people and all that stuff. I mean, would that not like fill the spiritual thing?
No, it would fill it. It would
Yeah.
fill it because, when I started Karma Kaps in 2013, I was at a major transitional period in my life. So I just moved back from Hawaii. My relationship ended. And so therefore I had no job. I had no place to live. So I'm like, shit. So I moved in with one of my best friends and I started painting because I just wanted to do something. I needed like a creative outlet at that time. So, I just started painting and it kind of grew and I've just like met so many people through there. And then, like I said, still like collaborating with other people. So it's like, I feel like I am filling that thing that, that void, or not really a void anymore, but that it fulfills me. Yeah. It's fun and I love doing like hands-on things and growing and learning. And that's what it constantly is. Yeah. It's always changing, which is important to know, to be open to that, because obviously like you'll like hit roadblocks and you'll kind of feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm I'm not like motivated sometimes, I'm like, what am I going to paint, or what am I going to do, what's next, why am I like you have this like inner dialogue and it's
every day.
Right.
How'd you come up with the name?
It's like a friend of mine, we were kind of like going over different names and I don't know. At that time, I was just, a lot of like the theme of my life at that time was what you give is what you get kind of thing. And so, I don't know. Karma just kind of, I don't know. It just kind of worked out. I was like, Karma, and it's just Karma Kaps.
Karma Kaps.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's a little bit different too. I like alliteration. So.
Yeah, and so the events, how long after you started did the events start to happen?
Oh, like years.
Oh, really?
I mean,
okay.
I was working full time probably from like, I would just work all day and then paint all night. Work all day, paint all night for at least 3 years, 3 or 4 years. And the hat painting events probably started, bless you.
Thank you.
The hat painting event started maybe a few years ago. And I did it like at a local coffee shop, which was cool because I went to one of those sip and stroke things, right? Where there's a calendar and you're like, oh, I'm going to paint a guitar. And then I'm painting the guitar and the artist was like, I wanted to paint it how I wanted to paint it. She's like, no, not that color. I'm like, I want to paint it nude. Yeah, it felt like strict.
Step back, lady. Yeah. Art.
Yeah.
It felt strict. So I was just like, you know what? And then eventually I'm like, I want to have my own thing and people can paint whatever they want. I actually like prefer for them to paint whatever they want. Like I'll make stencils and things and like, you really can't mess it up. You could slop paint all over the hat and then put a stencil on it of like a pineapple and you're good. So I don't know. People always have a good time.
Yeah, your website is sick. I love the video.
Thanks.
Of the actual event happening.
Yeah, they did a nice job. Yeah, just to give people an idea.
And the site is through Shopify, which I love talking about that too because it just makes it, I don't want to say easy, but doable for anybody to start like an e-commerce store,
Yes.
right? So essentially you have the events, but also you could buy stuff that's already, you have designs on here that people can order.
Right. And so, I mean, it's been great. It's been 6 years now that I've just been doing this, but I've been pretty backed up. So I haven't really had inventory. I have 20 hats that I need to paint, you know?
That's killer. How do you drive traffic to your site?
Just social media, I guess, through Instagram. I've done a few like paid ads and sponsored like things like that, but it's all kind of happened naturally. Everything's been pretty organic.
Word of mouth.
I've been super fortunate, word of mouth, but I've met a ton of people at the hat painting events, like corporate events, like, and especially being in like the beach, because I still play beach volleyball. And it's a huge community. So, you know, people out in California, you know, people here. So that's been huge. And then being in Deerfield Beach, it is like a little like local town. Everyone kind of knows everyone. Everyone's like skating or, you know. And so I've just had huge support through them. So I think that really helps, is that I was already kind of intertwined in this community. And then it's expanded.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So how can, like, so you say like it happens organically, right? And I think that a lot of people might not think that, you know, it's possible to get business through things like Instagram or Facebook. So, I mean, what is a way that, you know, because I want to try to do it myself too, you know, because it's challenging. But what are ways that you use Instagram as a tool, you know, to get people to your website or to interact with them, and then to get them to actually, from interacting with them on social media or whatever you're doing there, to actually converting them to a customer where they buy a product? What are some things that you do to make that happen?
Well, I keep my eyes open to different things. Like, for example, a friend of mine, he's, you know, messaged me and he's like, hey, this is my new page. I switched over my businesses. And I'm like, you need hats. Like, you need this. Here's my site. But like, we're friends, but like kind of keep an eye open for where your product or, you know, what you're doing could fit into someone else's life. So like, it's an opportunity. There's constant opportunities on Instagram. You know, it's like, you know,
it's a networking.
So people are saying, oh, you know, but I'll just talk to people, like they'll coach the volleyball team or they'll work here. And the corporate events are great. Like a corporate event I just like set up in this big meeting room. They had no idea what they were going to do. And I had like all the hats ready. So it's like, you're working, right? You're at your desk all day, your cubicle. And then you go in this room and you're like, hey, you're going to paint a hat today. And it's like music. And I'm like, sorry, I don't have wine, but you know.
So cool though.
But I don't know. And I just feel like it really does snowball. That's how I feel. Like, I feel like anytime I put a lot of focus on it, it grows.
Yeah. And it's important too for people to understand that it's not like you just create a product and you just kind of like, you know, create an Instagram and all of a sudden things just happen. You're heavily involved in the community of like surfing and that whole community. So once you are already involved and then you have a product, it's like, it's already there. You're already involved in the community. So it's almost like, you know, it's just natural. That's where I think that organic comes from.
Right. So it's definitely being tied into the community and people 100%. Like even right now, I'm thinking about like all these events where you could sell your juice.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like, because I guess, can you open up the door?
Would you open that door, dude?
Because I think right now I'm just kind of like struggling a little bit with a few different things, and I'm like never the person who wants to give up on anything, you know, especially when there's like a lot of money and time invested, and I just feel like it's my job to like figure it the fuck out. And like I feel like sometimes I'm just banging my head against the wall trying to figure it out. But we have so many resources and so many like ways to do it, and that's why I'm like excited that we have the podcast to use as an outlet to like bring people together. And you know, anyone that comes on, I always try to like extract information that I know that can help, you know, anyone who's listening, or, you know, just help me in general, you know. But yeah, like that's just how I've been feeling recently, is that, you know, it's I'm like in there so much that when I get out of it, like the last thing I want to do is try to figure out how to bring more customers in. It's
difficult on your own. Like if you're going to try to do it on your own, it's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just the thing. Is like that's just how it is. You know, it is. So it's those American Cancer Society hours. You know,
Yes.
you're working there, you're working at home, you're working until everyone else goes to bed, and you know, kind of just like waiting for that one thing. I'm just like that's where I feel like I'm at right now. I'm like waiting for that like one or two things that I like. It just kind of dings, and then I figure it out, and then it can start growing again. You know, because I feel like it's kind of like just stuck right now. Like there's no, you know, the expenses get paid and all that stuff, and the employees get paid, and it's revolving, but it's not growing.
Right.
And like you said, if you're not growing, it's right now. Yeah, like if you're not growing, you know. But it's just a matter of, you know, like hanging in through the rough period to when you get to those moments of growth.
And and it's during those times when you have to like sit and think, okay, I'm at this roadblock and now I need to figure out a different way. Like that's when you find it, you know. I feel like it's completely normal to be at roadblocks.
And then I'm also thinking in my head like this. It does, but this is like also what separates the entrepreneurs and the people, the business owners, from the employees, because at sometimes I feel like a different person that has a different mindset at this point might just be like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna go work for XYZ, you know, and just this is it. But like that's not like where my mind goes. My mind goes like, how am I gonna figure this shit out? Right. Like I can't. There's no other option.
And you already know once you figure it out, or once you get that like that little thing, you know it's you know what it feels like.
Yeah, and then like I want that like freedom back of like being able to float and like do other things, because like I've been really like, and I almost feel like partially divided because I've been really drawn to the video work and the photo work, and that's where I feel the most passion, the most creativity, and that's where I want to spend the most of my time. But I'm just not. I'm not there right now. So it kind of pulls on like my happiness strings a little bit, and then I'm like not performing at the level I should be at the business, because I'm not feeling extremely happy about what I'm doing. So it's kind of like a rock and a hard place type thing. I always just keep putting it out there. So
I don't know who I was talking, one of you guys, but I have a friend that needs a promo video. I do a lot of collaborations with her and stuff. So like I have a few of them, and I just feel like it's good to keep talking about it like that. Yeah. That's exactly how it happens.
And it's also like another thing. It's the same thing with like social media. Like, are you going to get vulnerable and tell people where you're at, you know, or are you just going to put on a fake like thing? It's like it's like I don't have it all together. Like that's when I get the most response on anything on social media. Is like when I just get vulnerable and say like, yo, this shit's hard. You know, like, can anybody help me with any of this? You know, and like you get good response, and you get the most likes, you know, when you do that. But that's like whatever, you know.
They're gonna take it away soon.
The likes, Instagram, not Facebook, right?
Not Facebook.
Wait,
Instagram.
what?
They're already doing that in like 7 countries.
Why?
That's good.
Someone put out the idea and they're trying it.
I think they're doing like, it's like a mental health study.
Something like that, yeah. But you can see it, but nobody else can. So you can see how many people liked it, but when you look at the picture, it's just gonna be not even views on videos, nothing.
You're off social media because you're Me Too thing, so you don't know.
Yeah. You don't even care.
Whatever
I
that
got
was.
fucking
You're out.
All right, cool.
No,
so how, if people want to reach out to you or you know, check you out, how can they do so?
Through my website, karmakaps.com, or they can reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook. Message me.
Caps with a K.
Yes.
Karma Kaps.
Karma
if
Kaps.
someone if someone DMs you, you're gonna leave them on read.
Am I gonna what?
That's just a thing I heard.
Leave them on read?
Leave them on
red.
Meaning
red?
I like to say leave them on read.
Like make it look like I didn't read that?
Just
no, you
don't
can't do
read
that.
them.
No, I'm gonna read it.
Okay, so now people know.
I don't do that.
She don't leave people on read.
She responds.
I respond.
Read it and reply. Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah, so that's Karma Kaps with 2 Ks, KarmaKaps.com.
I feel like you spelled that
and
wrong.
Karma Kaps on
wrong?
KarmaKaps
No, you fucked
on
up.
Instagram too, right? Same thing.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Time's up. Me too.
Cool. And then leave the listeners with. Oh wait, we gotta.
What?
We'll just
Fuck 'em.
forget about it. Yeah. I was gonna say, you know, dsquaredmedia.com. You know, check them out.
Yeah, shout out D Square, man.
Did you just say fuck them to D squared?
No. I said
Our
like
only supporter.
Yo, shout out to
Fucking
D Squared
drop
Media.
it, Christian. Give them
Shout
a
out to D Squared Media. They helped us with our website redesign, and with Andrew's Juice Revolution website and a bunch of other stuff. They have anything that has to do with your company as far as marketing or anything like that, social media. They can help you out with that. So check them out.
You get a fucking discount.
Get a discount.
Yeah,
10%
off. 10% off. Yeah. Thank you, Danny, and your team. Yeah, you guys are.
Yeah. Let's
amazing.
not say fuck you to do
No, I wasn't.
that?
I wasn't saying fuck
about
you. I was
that?
like saying like, oh fuck it, like forget it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse.
I thought you-
We've had
I
the
thought you
sponsor for the
burned-
podcast, but it
Yeah.
like doesn't. You know, like, I'm just waiting for that
Look.
one client to say like, oh, I heard about you on the podcast to bring in a
touche.
client.
I thought you burned all the negative energy out of this room.
I did. That wasn't
Yeah.
negative. I was just saying. I'm just ball rolling, dude.
I'm just saying, Danny, if you're listening.
All right, so leave. You know, you're all about good karma and positivity. So leave the people with something that they can maybe think about, reflect about, that would help them improve in their quality of life, or just something that you've experienced that could be meaningful to them.
Huh. I don't know. I would suggest everyone having a creative outlet. Some sort of outlet. Speak it, paint it, write it. And just stay open to change and continue to grow.
Solid.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next week.
Don't die.